It's possible to anticipate future problems when shaping and pruning your fruit trees. Searching information on your apple varieties is important, as not all can be pruned the same way. For instance, if you leave long branches and too many flowers are pollinated, that will cause heavy crop loads on more productive varieties. If you don't anticipate these situations, they will have to be corrected later, like I am doing here, at the expense of important tree resources. It's always better to correct pruning mistakes, even if the solutions seem a bit drastic. Failure to do so may result in young tree exhaustion and heavy fruit loads that thin branches can't support. This is the same tree several weeks later and the problem still exists. You can't forget that these fruits will grow and will gain weight. Even if you leave just a few too many fruits on a thin branch, this will cause problems when they get bigger. Being too conservative when correcting pruning mistakes will result in the need to remove some fruits at a later date. Reducing the length of productive branches will help, although it also depends on the type of tree shape you choose when pruning and training your tree. For instance, when training apple trees in the open center system, the main branches have no problem in supporting the fruit load of short productive spurs. But even with this pruning and training system, you will have to limit the length of secondary branches, or the load problems will still exist in more productive apple varieties. In these cases, heading the branches or thinning excess fruits will still be needed to avoid problems. Thinning the fruit load can also be achieved by removing flowers and can save resources, as the tree doesn't have to start growing fruits that will have to be removed later. Fruiting spurs will produce clusters of flowers that, when pollinated, will produce clusters of fruits. The density of spurs and resulting clusters of flowers is determined by the pruning method and genetics of the variety, among other factors. Some varieties are extremely productive and will have to endure heavier fruit thinning or be pruned more aggressively. As apple trees produce fruits on older wood, it is important to be able to recognize fruiting structures like fruit buds and spurs. To secure the crop of next year, when fruit thinning, take care to never remove the spur, just the fruits that are attached to the spur by the stem. Insect pollination, mainly through bees, is essential to good fruit set. Flowering seasons are not necessarily the same for each variety, and can vary even within the same tree. This makes thinning by removing flowers not practical, even in the home orchard. Bad weather might also damage the flowers that are pollinated. Unpollinated flowers are also not uncommon. If flowers are removed, some are not pollinated, and bad weather removes some of them at a later date, there is a risk of losing most of the crop. So, removing young fruits when they are yet small is the common practice for effective fruit thinning. Most apple varieties have a tendency to form tight clusters of fruits. These clusters will have to be opened, or the growing fruits will not develop well. When the fruits have short stems, some crowded clusters can be so tight that air can't circulate, which can cause fungal problems and other diseases. Removing fruits can be done by cutting or rotating the stem. Start by removing the smaller fruits in the cluster. In less productive varieties, you can leave 2 or 3 fruits in each cluster, if there is enough space for them to develop fully. In more productive varieties, leave just 1 or 2 fruits per spur, and make sure there is enough space between fruits on the same branch. These are okay, plenty of space, support, and energy resources for these fruits to grow. These are too crowded. The branch won't support them. They will lack resources, or they won't grow properly for lack of space. Always remove fruits that are deformed or show signs of disease or insect damage. Codling moth, apple maggot, and other pests will infect some fruits if pesticides are not used, which I avoid. When fruit thinning, find and remove the affected fruits. Fruits of unthinned trees will be small, and some will not develop fully. Left on their own, unthinned trees will drop many immature fruits by midsummer. Although older dwarf trees can support heavy crops, thinner branches might be at risk, or the trees might tip over if unbalanced by fruit loads. More productive varieties will concentrate lots of fruit, and branches will bend and might break under the weight. Tip bearers and partial tip bearers varieties, like Granny Smith, are more prone to this situation and will have to be well pruned and thinned to avoid it. Besides producing underdeveloped, deformed, and immature fruits, unthinned trees tend to be stressed trying to grow all those fruits. They deplete their resources and are more prone to biennial production, that is, they might only produce fruits every 2 years. When planting 2 or 3-year-old trees, don't allow too many fruits on these unpruned trees. They might grow large fruits that they can't support, and this will stress the tree. If you are curious about a new variety, leave only a few fruits so they can develop without depleting the tree. This might slow its growth though. Prune effectively and fruit thin early. Adjust according to your apple varieties and area weather. Only keep the fruits that the tree and the branches can support without stress. If you were too conservative when fruit thinning secondary branches, remove the excess fruits before the branches break. If you want to preserve more fruits in each branch on young trees, you will have to support the branches. The use of wire support makes guiding the branches easier, and some varieties will allow greater productivity using this method. Fruit quality is first determined by genetic factors like apple variety and rootstock used. Environmental factors like soil, light, temperature, humidity and wind will also condition the final result. Agricultural factors like training system, pruning, fruit thinning, pollination, nutrition, and irrigation are the last set of factors that determine fruit quality. So, pruning and thinning are only a small part of what makes a good fruit, but its correct use will contribute decisively for bigger and better tasting fruits. Unpruned and unthinned trees will produce a large number of very small fruits. These smaller fruits will be more susceptible to diseases and malformations, and the trees will have more tendency to biennial production. Energy will be used to concentrate sugars in these bigger fruits, but also for adequate growing without stressing the trees. Nothing beats a fresh picked apple, sweet, firm and juicy, the result of good pruning and fruit thinning practices. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment and share the video to support the channel. Hit the bell to receive notifications of new videos.